Welcome to the studios of Weekend Deal, Africa's biggest deal. My name is Suleiman Babajia Usman. Trust me, it's going to be an exciting day. Today we are going to be talking about, the challenges of, enforcing traffic laws in Nigeria. Of course, like I said earlier, that we are all responsible and we are stuck in this traffic jam together. And we all have a role to play in ensuring that we have, safe and free traffic flow in our major roads in the country. So right now, let's take this background report from Francis Ogi to set the pace for the program.
In Nigeria, road transport is the dominant mode of movement for both freight and passenger traffic. But it is no longer news that accident on our major roads has become a recurrent decimal which claim lots of redeemable lives. This happens mostly because somebody at a particular time either doesn't know about the traffic rules or has deliberately refused to obey it.
Not all understand, but those that understand, do not obey them. They do not adhere strictly to these rules, and it's because of the laxity we have in the enforcement. I was in a public transport recently, and then it was red light, and I told the driver, stop. He said, no, that this red light doesn't stop him. You can imagine that the red light can't stop him, doesn't stop him. So that's the high level of ignorance we have among road users in Nigeria.
In order to ensure order in the society and reduce the rate of accidents, there is need for strict adherence and enforcement of traffic laws.
I've also been to so many countries where I noted how traffic lights are being enforced. So when you compare it to what is happening in our country, Nigeria, you would know that laws, especially traffic laws, are not well enforced. Mind you also, in road safety, it's not about enforcement. The goal is not to arrest people. The goal is to ensure free flow traffic. The goal is to ensure that people move from point A to point B safely. So the enforcement is like an added thing in road safety.
Balance, fairness and civility must always be deployed by traffic personnel in enforcing laws and in their dealings with all motorists and road users in general to ensure justice and equity to every traffic offender when apprehended.
They often behave poorly, and you can see that play out in some of the recent events where a law enforcement officer is seen on top of a bonnet of a car, and then trying to drag drag with the motorist in motion. That is very wrong. That is absolutely very wrong. Some of them sometimes need to be mentally examined, because this job requires a lot of stress. It strikes them a lot, and it sometimes affects the way they think.
Lack of efficient and effective traffic law enforcement has been responsible for several accidents in the country, especially among motorcycle operators. Therefore, the idea of the mobile court is to facilitate the trial of road traffic offenders, thereby ensuring discipline on the highway.
Some of these cases like traffic violation and beating the red light and all that, mobile court will give their verdict and justice will be delivered as quick as possible. And then what that further does is that it further enlightens people that if you mess up on the road, I mean, this would happen to you. You know, the court is there to treat your issue as quick as possible.
Sirens are for the good of humanity and are essentially designed to be used in an emergency. However, siren in Nigeria is used to harass, intimidate, and sometimes inflict injuries on road users and innocent members of the public.
It is very sad that in today Nigeria, our leaders do not obey traffic laws. You know, it is red light, they don't even look at it. You know, once they have the siren, they don't look at it. You know, and the sad thing is governors do this, House of Rep members do this, ministers do this. The issue of road safety is a collective responsibility, so everyone needs to get involved. We're beginning to approach the Ember month period. During the Ember month period, we see a lot of crashes happening, we see a lot of dead on our road, and there is no evil spirit or any demon out there wanting to suck people's blood. It is our attitude. It is the attitude of road user that is leading to those crashes that we record more during the Ember month.
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on the rule of law and enforcement of traffic laws in Nigeria.
And incidentally, from next week, we'll actually be in the Ember month because next month is September, right? And yes, I'm sure you also can relate with some of the issues raised in that background report put together by Francis. And if we talk about traffic, you know, offenses, you know, traffic, you know, jam, traffic gridlock and all of that, there's no way Lagos will be out of that conversation. So right now, let's get their perspective. This story is coming all the way from Lagos Network Center.
Lagos metropolitan area, with a total population of 21.3 million and the fourth highest gross domestic product in Africa, is the commercial nerve center of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is not surprising then that such volume of economic activities in Lagos carry with it heavy vehicular movement, as over 1.6 million vehicles ply Lagos roads daily, thus putting a lot of pressure on traffic law enforcement agents. Despite the heavy presence of traffic officers on Lagos roads, many Lagosians believe the traffic situation could be better.
I think the last mile people are not living up to their responsibilities. They are not, because especially the ones in Obalende, I don't think they are really doing enough, because you can see them, they are here now. You can see buses parking when they are not supposed to park and taking passengers, and they are just watching, maybe because they do give them some tips. That's why they are not really doing what they are supposed to be doing.
Lagos State traffic is very hectic, and what I see there is that a lot of congestion in so many places. And what I see that have really caused it is the construction of roads in some places, and whereby they don't finish it, they block the road, and sometimes those people, they don't work at night.
These short bus, they go and take VI. They do much for that runabout, you know, and they stay for runabout and load. If I know full, they will not move. So that's what causes the traffic.
It therefore evokes a feeling of sadness when commercial vehicle operators especially seem to get away with blatant disregard for laid down laws of road use, thereby creating chaotic traffic situation and making nonsense of the efforts of the many traffic enforcers on our roads.
If you ask if we are really enforcing the law, what did I enforce when I arrested 15,000 people in 3 months in just a state? And we're talking of a state that has close to 2.5 million vehicles. So even if I stay on the road, I have to, while I'm arresting one, so many other offenders are going. The theory of enforcement is what we should appreciate as a nation. Even if police will need to arrest an armed robber, they cannot. It's not a science, a rocket science. You have to attend to one person per time. That's why we know, in the course of creating sanity on our roads, enforcement can only take care of 10%. What takes care of major bulk of solving the problem is advocacy and stakeholders' involvement.
While some parts of Lagos roads are bad with potholes, forcing drivers to change lanes, thus contributing to traffic congestion, some other portions are under construction, forcing drivers to slow down and drive too close to one another. With this state of affairs, all road users need to take responsibility to ensure safety.
If you know where we are coming from, the days of saying Lagos driver, you know, in those days when they say Lagos driver, it's synonymous to irresponsibility because it's believed that anybody they call a Lagos driver is a reckless driver. But the scenario has changed now. We have discipline all over, and you agree with me compared to what it was about 2-3 months ago, things are getting better. And remember the fact that the state is doing a lot of work too as regards rehabilitation of roads. So when there are these gridlocks that are beyond human control because of the roads construction that is going on and the impatience of the drivers, definitely you know there will be skirmishes here and there. And these are the things that the agencies are trying to manage. They are working day and night, but there's nothing you can achieve without the cooperation of the road users.
Suffice it to say that road safety is not the sole responsibility of traffic agents. All Lagos residents must take responsibility and ensure all traffic rules are obeyed with patience. With this done, Lagos traffic situation will gradually improve.
Well, it is actually estimated that Lagos loses about 42 billion naira annually due to, loss of productivity in traffic, and that is not a good number, I must say. And sometimes you wonder what really happens, in terms of this implementation of these laws. FRSC at some point talked about 6 E's implementation strategies. At some point when you talk about education, enlightenment, engineering, environment, enforcement and evaluation, and you wonder what happened to some of these things. What are we really doing wrong? And of course, we'll continue to talk about this until that time where we can say, yes, there's sanity on our roads. And of course, talking about the roads, Dayo actually spent a day with VIO officials to see how enforcement is being, carried out.
Once we confirm it, we're going to release her. This number does not reflect to us which vehicle has been allocated to this number. Now here, no chassis number, no make of the vehicle. And look at when it was dated. Most of those people only got the number from anywhere, fixed in their vehicle and keep on using it without registering it. Yeah, you can check. This is a... It's okay. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Thank you. You are welcome, sir. Have a nice day. Any number that is faded, you go for replacement. But anytime you paint it, we're going to arrest you for that. So, it's advisable for the motorist to always do the needful. That's if the plate number has issue, either it's faded, you cannot see clearly, and you are not allowed to use plastic. You go to the appropriate authority to make a payment for replacement, so they can print 2 number plates for you. That's why we are arresting this woman, because of the painted plate number. Look at what he puts. See. Whom it may concern authority later. Suppose going to ask him of his papers.
In fact, when they stopped me, I was so confident. I said everything is perfect, it's a company vehicle, there's no problem. And by the time they checked, they found this out. And it can happen that way. Before you know, the second one will go bad, I will not know. And you and I know what that can result to. So this is certainly a good thing.
Either maybe this the thing got down there or something. But there's no way normal human being will carry deflated tire and drop inside this car.
It's okay. In the case of this fire extinguisher, this particular type is not meant for a vehicle. There is a bigger one that can quench fire immediately. This is water fire extinguisher. Look at it. It's not functioning well. It's meant for motorcycle and bicycle. It's not meant for a car like this. It's okay. Please. Go and change it on your own.
There you have it, an interesting report there. And I know some people, yes, the program, of course, is participatory. Our numbers will be displayed on the screen right now. You can see them. Send in your contribution. Share with us your experiences from your state, wherever you are. It doesn't matter. Just share your experience. We get to share it with other viewers as well. And some people are of the opinion that is it the education force or enlightenment or just enforcement, but some are also of the view that despite education and its enlightenment, people will still break the law. So the only way out is immediately you break any traffic law, your account, or rather you should be charged directly from your account number. And how should that happen? Before you are given a license, what is it called, a plate number, your data is supposed to be captured together with your BVN. So if you don't have a BVN, you cannot be issued a plate number. What that means is your details will just be, captured immediately, and then you receive the alert. I'm sure nobody wants to see their money being deducted from their accounts. By the time that begins to happen, I'm sure a lot of people will begin to do the needful. Now, I'm talking about some of the solutions. During the week, we had a chat. Weekend Deal crew had a chat with a VIO officer here in Abuja, and this is the, of course, the discussion that took place.
The reality is we cannot be everywhere at the same time. That is the real truth. But in our own way, you have seen our personnel all over the city trying to enforce these regulations. But then road safety management is so vast and wide that all of us, the media, the commuters, the operators, the road users, all of us really need to do our own part, even the community, because sometimes you will see a road traffic officer trying to impose the rules. And unfortunately, the passerby try to go at the side of the offender who has done the wrong thing. So there are quite a lot of these challenges, which I said I look at it as not really lack of enforcement, but somehow all of us need to step up, not only us. We are trying to make sure that we improve on our own daily enforcement and go around on supervision. But these people who are actually perpetrating these traffic offenses are mostly these taxi drivers, keke napep, and this new normal that has come to stay with us because of this corona, the dispatch, which has come handy because of their patronage during the corona, and they now trying to key in and become part of the normal transportation. They are equally becoming a nuisance in the city, beating the traffic light left, right, and center, going against the traffic, and we have been doing the arrests. But unfortunately, as if we are not even doing the arrest. That is what is more worrisome. Because if you look at our offices, you will realize that with the quantum of arrests we are doing every day of this Okada, Keke Napep, and taxi, it's on daily basis. And we begin to look in what can we do to solve the problem. And that is why now we are trying to step in the issue of not only enforcement, but equally enlightenment. Enlightenment not to the operators themselves as in driver only, but equally to the road users. How can the road users assist us to impose this regulation? Because even if the law enforcement agency is not there, for example, as a passenger, I can refuse to enter a vehicle that has a worn-out tire. It's my right. Nobody needs to come and impose it for me. So also, it's equally my right if the driver is overspeeding to ask the driver reduce speed. Or if a driver beat the traffic light once, I will tell him not to repeat it when I'm inside. If you do, I will report you to the next police or security formation or road traffic officer, whatever I see as the case may be. I think if all of us look at it this way and do a bit in our own part, it will come and solve a lot of issues. And even by seeing somebody doing the wrong thing, parking in a place where he's not supposed to park, and you caution him, I think it can go a long way, not by hailing somebody who is over speeding and maybe is trying to evade arrest, like what happened just like 3 days back at that Jabi. When our officers were there to control these nuisances we are talking about, and then somebody who evaded the traffic light and tried to run over our officer. I'm telling you, and as you can have it, when we tried to arrest the person, it was people who blocked to ensure that he evaded the arrest. Most of these motorcycle and Keke Napep were arrested. None of them will tell you that they didn't know that their limit. All of them knew. And anybody who parked in an illegal park as a taxi, he knew. Everybody who parked, none of them is new in this city. When I say none, maybe 90% or 99% of them are actually staying here and operating here. Even if they didn't stay, they go back in the evening. So they are actually conversant with their terrain. But every time they want to steal opportunity and ensure that any blink that our officers are absent in this direction, they will always try to go there and commit this thing. So that is the discipline we are talking about. Somebody should be able to come to traffic light, even if there is nobody, for you to stay at the traffic light until you are allowed to go. I think that is what is Moody's, and that is why we are trying now to send the message to the general public and other road users to help us in ensuring and enforcing this regulation, apart from the effort that we are going to equally increase in our own as road traffic officers. Road traffic management is a very, very vast area, that, like what I said. So it requires all other agencies to collaborate. So I didn't see it as who does what, but how do we collaborate? And that is what we are doing in the FCT. You see us mostly operating jointly together with the police, with the road safety, and also in the FCT, I don't think we have that problem of who does what. And even in reality, all of them, because of the relationship of transportation to basically all sectors of the economy, including security and social, economic, cultural, whatever. So that makes it relevant for all other sectors, whether you call it security, for example, police can check because of the issue of security. There are equally road safety who will be checking like us jointly because of safety and other roadworthiness issues. So all these things are interwoven and they are all very relevant. So I didn't see it as conflict, I rather see it as synergy. Now we are trying to review the charges because the charges presently are insignificant. That is why we have almost finished the review of the regulation. We are trying to call the final stakeholders meeting. We have done the individual stakeholders meeting with these relevant stakeholders. We'll call the final stakeholders meeting so that we actually ensure that this fine was the offense you committed. Because you beat traffic light, for example, and the fine is 5,000. You realize that everybody will be in a hurry to pay and just go away. But that is why we said, in addition to that fine, you are still going for psychiatric evaluation. Psychiatric evaluation itself is about 15,000. And to go through that trauma, to even be thinking that am I a mad person or whatever, or am I emotionally imbalanced, those kind of things. So at least that will send you a signal that you shouldn't repeat it. And if you come back again, we'll still put you through these lectures. But I think it is even very key again to actually for people to pay higher, to pay higher price for doing these offenses, especially for somebody who wants to kill himself and kill somebody. Because anybody who wanted to beat traffic light, it's like somebody who wants to go on suicide attempt, or you are doing one way. It's the same thing, because what you are asking for is head-on-head collision. So I think these penalties should probably be like Lagos, seizure of that vehicle if you beat traffic light, for example, or and if you make any offense, you can just pay at once without, if it is an offense that doesn't require a vehicle to be impounded, you will use it to using our own terminals to pay just instantly without wasting any time. But we wanted to take it a little further now, that, okay, what happened to during the enforcement field? That people that are aiding or evading these regulations, for example, when we are not there, because that is the major challenge, which I told you earlier, that they will just look that, oh, these people are not here. They do what they want to do and then they get away with it. Because normally we are trying to caution our officers not to chase people so that there shouldn't be multiple accidents. So in that, they always take advantage. Even if you are seeing them, sometimes they don't even care. They will just come and do what they want to do and just drive dangerously and go away. They know that you can't follow them in that manner. So I think what you are talking about using the technology is apt, and we are in top gear in terms of collaboration with some private sector organization. This is much more than even what is going to happen in the directorate. Is an FCT administration project, so that this kind of gadgets are going to be installed where people who violate traffic rules can be captured seamlessly, and even their fine can be sent to them at once, so that you will be able to see your fine. Because now 100% any vehicle that have FCT number plate, we have the data, and that is what is very, very important. When you have the data, then you can be able to play with it and do all this other technology. So I think we are at that level now where we can say we are almost done on that matter. Very soon we'll keep up on the issue of that enforcement in terms of technology. Anytime you attempt to arrest somebody, he will put almost double the energy to ensure that he abort that arrest. So that is equally a great challenge. That is what I am saying now about the issue of even the commuters. For example, if you are inside a car and you see somebody is behaving in that manner, you will tell him, no, this is a law enforcement agency. Stop for him. That is what, but hardly you see that good gesture coming around. Unlike what we have been seeing in other places where somebody will just commit offense. In fact, the person is just there, he will call the police quickly. Say, see that this person has done this. I saw somebody calling this, and they just dial 019 and prove before you know the police are there. So I think that's what I am saying. We really need to step up by adding this responsibility to the citizen as well as the operators and the commuters themselves, so that we will have a safe city. Because if we have a safe city, it is in the best interest of everyone. The nature of complaint, for example, nobody complain about how these people has badly turned the city. People are complaining and saying, why can't you just come and see somebody and just wait him and greet him and say good morning before you collect his particulars and whatever. Well, these people are not that friendly you are talking about. They don't even wait for all those stuff. They are ready to take you on. So how do you have the time to start all this normal greetings? It's actually a very tough and hazardous job. We do chase with caution, because like what I told you, is always very dangerous. You don't like seeing a scene where you don't even need to chase somebody to hit him. If somebody that you are chasing, unfortunately on his own, got accident or whatever, nobody will want to hear that this man is already going against traffic, or they are trying to chase him and make sure that he didn't kill anybody. They are just trying to abort this and whatever. People doesn't want to hear. They just want to come around and say that before you know, all the media has taken it. BIO is chasing somebody and he was killed. That would be the headline for that day, unfortunately. When you have seen people being chased in the developed countries, they are chasing them with syringe and they are calling them stop. So, yeah, and nobody. So, but here, unfortunately, that's why I said that. We really have to know that the issue of traffic and transportation is very key to any developed city. We need that little push, that little encouragement to push the law enforcement agencies, to show them that, look, they are equally part of the society, and these people that have done the offense deserve the punishment. I think that is the way to go. On our part, we have to step up our enforcement, whether or not people have actually collaborated with us. Well, what we are saying, it will have been sweeter, it will have been more sweet if all of us join hands together. So my appeal is for all of us, the operators, the media, even the general road users, by just simply doing your own part.
A chat with Wadada Bodinga, the director VIO FCT there, quite insightful. And we have a couple of messages here, so let's get to it. Hello, sir. Road officers are doing their best, but most road users are breaking the laws. From Ali Kurma Kano, Old Damascus Filling Station Manager, Zaria Road there. And the next one says there is traffic law, but the level of compliance is very low on the part of our motorists in Nigeria. There is still need for more enlightenment and punishment for offenders. From Akinola Ololade from Ilorin, Kwara State. The next one says FRSC officials on Calabar Uyo are just there for enforcement, collecting bribes from motorists. Failure to give them "you are booked" advocacy is vital. You did not state your name. But right now we go on a break, and after that you get to meet our guests. Well, thank you for staying with us. Yes, I promise you that I will introduce my guest as soon as we come back from the guest and from the break, I beg your pardon. He's seated here with us, and he is the Professor Sydney Ibianusi, is the country director, UN Decade of Action on Road Safety. Thank you for coming to our studio. And I know you lived part of your life in Port Harcourt.
Very correct.
And of course, this next report we're about to take is actually from Port Harcourt. I'm sure you're familiar with the traffic situation there in the state. So let's see the report together. And when we come back, we talk more.
Traffic rules and regulations exist to discourage and punish indiscipline and unsafe acts on the road. In Rivers State, Nigeria, road safety law violators violate mostly the use of seat belts, reckless driving, driving against traffic, overloading, and failure to comply with traffic lights and signs.
To a large extent, traffic laws are being obeyed in Rivers State. Of course, we have not measured, the number of compliance, but I can tell you, from a random sampling, that about 70% enforcement, to that extent, traffic laws are being obeyed in Rivers State.
With all the area we've been controlling from location to Uswaba, I think they are trying, but sometimes when their madness comes, everybody wants to go at the same time. So it causes more problem.
In a bid to ensure adherence to traffic laws in Rivers State, the state government has established a task force to help traffic policemen.
The government set up task forces that are very effective. These task forces are all over the place, a bunch of young men, and they provided logistics for them, and they are funding them properly. So they complement what we do, because Port Harcourt is a big city.
I think the task force are trying their best, and I want to say a very big thank you to all patrol team in Nigerian police force. I think they are doing a lot of good job for us. They are making it easy for us most times they come around.
They are trying their best to put the traffic in a place where people will also come and picture it and discover that yes, there is a traffic law in Rivers State. But their best is not enough.
Unfortunately, some of the people whose duty it is to monitor and enforce traffic laws are often seen driving against traffic in major roads in Port Harcourt.
We should inculcate the digital system where through the number enforcement can be made. When you fail the law at a period of time, your numbers is being shown. The traffic light captured your plate number, and at that point in time, government gets your details. Those details can be deducted through your account.
No matter what you do, some people are either out of protest, or maybe they have aversion for law or ignorance. They just want to disobey law. But those people are not really so many, so to say. Most times you think they're coming from the background of frustration. Maybe there are things acting, maybe the economy is not in their favor. Sometimes you find that they're just struggling to survive. When you interview them, you see it's desperation that makes them act like that, not because they are not willing to obey.
We sought from commuters to know why there is no regards for traffic laws by all and sundry.
We on our own, we don't keep to time because we have been tailored through this system. Where before you know it, at every point in time, the man is in a hurry to do the school runs, the man is in a hurry to get 1 or 2 meets end, the man is trying to meet 1 or 2 obligations. So it's an opportunity for government to sit down and actually look those things that could make meaningful to the society and the citizen.
Drivers in Rivers State frequently engage in risky driving behaviors as they ply the road, hence violating the traffic rules and regulations.
Be patient, respect law enforcement agents. Be on your lane, maintain lane discipline, maintain your vehicles. Do not be rough. Do not bully other people out of the road. Remember, the life you save may be yours.
And they can only be curbed when traffic management agencies ensure the enforcement of traffic rules and regulations.
We are all in this traffic jam together. Even Prof. Ibianusi that I earlier introduced. Prof, do you agree that we are all in this traffic jam together?
Certainly we are. And like all the various speakers had mentioned, that road safety issue is every person's business, as long as you have every reason to be on the road at some point in time. And we always do have. Even the persons who think that they can fly and all that. When you fly from one airport to the other, you still have to take the road to get to either your office or to the house. So we always need the road. And we always are part of the process, and so we should comply. And this whole process should not be left in the hands of law enforcement agents. And I'm glad the gentleman from Lagos, the road safety officer from Lagos, did say that enforcement actually should take about 10% of the whole ensuring compliance. The bulk of compliance rests with advocacy and education, enlightenment, and then behavioral change of the road users. And if you do that, it will be cheaper in the long run, probably more expensive because there's a lot of input in terms of mass education, public enlightenment, media participation. So that initial investment may be huge, but in the long term, it is actually a better approach. And so with that, you tend to have people, road users, change their behaviors. And when they do change their behavior, over time it becomes habit.
Well, we know that there's need for behavioral change,
Yes.
especially from the road users, but some are of the opinion that yes, if you talk about advocacy, education and enlightenment, it's ongoing. As we speak, well, it might not be enough, but the end product of that has not yielded any result that will translate to safety on our roads. And that's why people are advocating for the hardline approach by finding. Now, you have traveled around the world. Share with us some of the experiences, what we can borrow from other, countries or to domesticate to ensuring that, our system is fixed.
Okay, good. I'm glad you did mention no country is an island.
Yeah.
So we borrow and we live with each other and borrow from systems that have been proven to work in other climes. And in some parts of the world, they've passed through what we're passing through now.
Okay.
And they realize that, adopting systems that have some positive impact over the time has worked. In some places, you really have law enforcement agents at every point and corner. But what you do have is the use of technology. So they have stepped up, use more technology, and that will put less pressure on law enforcement agents. Law enforcement agents is still there because there are things technology cannot do. But the bulk of the work now is being done by technology. I think one of the respondents who was interviewed actually talked about the use of cameras, the use of digital systems to make deductions. So nobody's chasing anybody. If you do break the law, or maybe you break the traffic lights, or you drive above the speed limit, then of course the system captures you, captures your number plate, and that is tracked to your
the vehicle owner.
Yeah, the vehicle owner.
Not necessarily the vehicle owner is driving the car at the point in time.
But you, the vehicle owner, has a responsibility to ensure that the person who is driving your vehicle first of all, is an eligible driver, and of course, he has the right temperament, and of course, is responsible enough. Otherwise, you, the owner, will pay. And that can be deducted because they already have your system, they have the information and all that. That can be deducted.
And I'm sure nobody would want to see, debit.
Yeah, certainly. No matter the amount. Even if it is 5,000 naira, like they say that it's a bit low, and all that, even if it's 5,000 naira, and has been debited from your account.
5,000 naira is not low.
It's not low.
Yeah.
It's not low.
Take 5,000 naira from my salary now. I'll come after you.
And by the time you do that every other day and all that, nobody will force you.
Talking about enforcement, we know that, those officers we see at various intersections, and you said just their presence, but in some cases whereby, they arrest or stop, traffic offenders, you see that most of these motorists, some will just pick up their phones and call their superiors, and then they are free.
Yeah,
that's another issue.
That is part of the problem. I must confess, that's part of the problem. And if you're talking about traffic enforcement or law enforcement, the law should not be partial. The law should be uniform, and we cut across all strata. Both the big, the mighty, and all that. If you break the law should come for you.
Quickly now, maybe within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
What can we do differently in order to ensure, free flow of traffic in the country to avoid loss of lives and property?
Okay.
Very quickly.
As quickly because of time, and I think ideally I should have elaborated on that using the UN approach of the 5 pillars, cut strata of administration, developing, producing the law, and then, of course, enforcing the law, and then the appropriate road and road infrastructures. You must have the signage. You must let people know what the law is. If you need a speed limit, you need to show people what it is. People need to know so that when they go against that, they know they have broken the law. And then, of course, talking of safer vehicles, the customs, the SON, standard organization, they should come with standards. And the vehicles that meet those standards are the ones that should come into the country. And the VIOs, or vehicle inspectors, ensure that only vehicles that meet safety standards apply the roads. And then the safer road users approach means all of us have to imbibe the culture of obeying the set rules. And what of post-crash? You've done everything, the crash do happen. Post-crash response. Hospitals need to ensure that when victims of road crashes are taken to the hospital, they should be treated. Now there's a law that when those persons in emergency come, you must treat them without recourse to ask for money or police reports or anything.
Which used to be the practice. Thank you very much.
With this, we should reduce it.
Yeah, definitely. With all of this, I think we should begin to, experience seamless traffic on our roads. And thank you very much, Professor Sidney Ibeanusi. He is the country director, UN Decade of Action on Road Safety. It's been a pleasure.
And injury prevention.
Interesting. And then, of course, I'm sure you've, encountered situations whereby people will just be blowing their sirens, trying to disrupt, the traffic flow and all of that. I know for some people it's illegal for you to just use siren, but some people are actually exempted. And then this next report will actually, elucidate further about the use of siren on our roads.
This is a common sight on major roads around the country, leading to a devastating gridlock, which results in public officers, businessmen, flamboyant religious leaders and other prominent Nigerians deploying the illegal use of siren blaring convoys when they move around. As the illegal use of sirens on our roads increases, motorists and pedestrians who are daily oppressed by this device have lamented what they describe as road terrorism.
It's something government should put a stop to, because personally, from my own opinion, it's harassing the citizens, because they themselves, they also have the right to use the roads. Most times you see government officials, for example, they are going for meetings or functions. Even when that meeting is not urgent, you see them harassing motorists just because they feel they have the power or they have the right to oppress them.
Most times it serves as a means of distraction, especially I'm a driver. So most times when you're on the way, with your own personal car and these sirens are coming, it causes a distraction at times, most times, especially to the drivers who are on the way. And if a driver is distracted, he can easily have an accident. So if that can be minimized, it will go a long way. Though we cannot erase it totally, but let it be done by especially the ones who are in the high level. At times you discover that it's a soldier who is just passing, maybe a boy in the car alone, and he will be using the siren.
In an attempt to stem the tide of the illegal and recklessness of the brazen use of sirens, the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC) and the Nigerian police have issued directives stipulating who can use the device and spelling out stiff penalties for offenders, which include a fine of 3,000 naira or a jail term of 6 months or both.
Siren is to be used for emergencies and necessities, and for clearing road for VIPs, ambulances, and the fire service are authorized to use sirens because of the necessity of their movement and actions. And some selected government officials are authorized by law to use sirens for the clearing of road for VIPs. But no individual person, private person, is authorized to use siren. They are punishable under the Road Traffic Act. They will be arrested and taken to court, and they have a jail term of 6 months. That's why we have been arresting them. We would have been, you are here last week, you see those who were arrested. We arrested about 7. We have taken them to court. So I want to appeal to Nigerians, for your sake, for the sake of security situation we are talking in the country, because we don't know who is who now. If you are moving, you are covering your plate number, you are blowing siren in a private vehicle, you don't know whether you are part of the bandits or you are part of the kidnappers. So you are frightening people. And why are you causing the panic? Why are you causing the frightening? You have to know why you are blowing the siren. Who gave you the authority? Which audacity do you have? Which impunity are you using?
I heard that people that have retired from the force,
yes,
are still allowed to use siren.
No, it's not true. As far as you have turned to a private person, except you are a person of that has immunity of the law. Former presidents, former governors that has immunity. If you don't have immunity, you don't have authority to use siren after retiring from government.
Section 154 of the National Road Traffic Regulation (NRTR) 2012, Part 14 states, no person other than the President and Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and the Senate, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Governors and Deputy Governors shall drive a vehicle on any public road using sirens, flashers or beacon lights. The days of the illegal use of sirens are now close to an end, as the Federal Road Safety Corps and the Nigerian police are working in line with the announced January 8, 2019 ban on the indiscriminate use of sirens, not only in the Federal Capital Territory and its satellite towns, but nationwide.
Trust me, the sirens can be very, very, traumatizing sometimes, but you have to understand, for those who are allowed to use the sirens for emergency purposes. Now, we have joined us in the studio two gentlemen and a lady to talk about the Nigeria at 60 special awards. And let me just start with the introduction of the gentleman. Sorry, it's not ladies first. Femi Oyelade. He's the project director, Nigeria at 60 special award. He's also the creative director, Say It Loud Digital and Creative Communication. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much for having me.
And then we have Amuta Stone. Amuta Stone, we go way back. It's been a while. She's a musician, alternative, artist, if you like, and she is the composer of the theme song, right?
Yes, I am.
I'm sure before we leave, you get to have a feel of that. Don't worry, we can help you. It's a cappella. After all, we all sing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, talk to me about this special award. Why is it, taking this long? Because if you say Nigeria at 60, we celebrated 60 years last year, and then we are here, yet we've not had it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you for having us. You recall that President Muhammadu Buhari last year, when we turned 60, declared 1 year long celebrations for Nigeria at 60. And for me, I would think because of the COVID-19 protocols and restriction, there was no opportunity to do, the large gathering events and all that. Even right now, we still have all those protocols in place. Yeah, so there's been small events, since then, small 1 event, 2 events, 3 events, even the Made in Nigeria Expo that was held some months ago, and then the Nigeria Special Awards is meant to be the climax before we turn 61.
You talked about, Made in Nigerian, exhibition. Of course, I know you had a feel of that as well, where you had different products from different parts of Nigeria celebrating our creativity. That is very, very important. Now, as we go, what do you hope to achieve at the end of this?
Okay, so basically we intend to achieve this same theme, which is together. The reason why we should stay together, because this award is focused on achievement and recognizing patriotic Nigeria.
But it's been a pleasure having you on our set, and I hope you guys are obeying traffic. I know you can't go the other way around, really, because that has been the thrust of our conversation on Weekend Deal today. Right now, we go on a break, and after that, the show continues. So please stay with us. But before we go, please, I have a gift from, Femi. Please just present it. Present it to me. Present it to me.
This is for you. Please wear it and shine and keep on being green.
This was given to me as a gift on the show today. So I am going to put it on to see how it fits. And as I do that, I say bye-bye. We do this again tomorrow, bright and early.